Okay, well, back at it. We've made an upper mount here out of a few pieces of a boat trailer. We got it braced up underneath as well. However, if you look at the steering here, you can see, you can kind of see, it still moves back and forth just a little bit, and it's pissing us off. So, another Sears Craftsman appliance has given its bits for this. We're just going to weld that on to the bracket and give it a bolty thing back here and hopefully brace this thing. Yay! Okay, our pieces of snowblower are in place and not moving anymore.
No deflection.
A little bit of slop. Okay, well, after messing around with it a little more, we realized that most of the slop was between the shafts and the heim joints. Now, as far as I'm aware, this hole in the heim joint is really just supposed to be there for a bolt to go through, and this is what's supposed to move. And these two are real sloppy together. So we took these little metal wedges left over from other stuff, just kind of tapped them in there. And if I work the steering here, I mean, there's slop still, but it's only in the rack. It's much better. Yep.
If they don't find you handsome, they should at least find you handsome.
Well, we figured out why the heim joints were so loose.
Shitty parts.
Yeah. Dad called up Borgeson and they said, well, try our heim joints. And so we got a set of their Super Skookum stainless ones. And
They're only about 3,000 times more expensive.
yeah, but no slop.
They
So,
fit.
Yeah. So yeah, this top joint here, yeah, no matter what we do with these set screws, it's probably going to foul the valve cover. So I'm just going to make sure it doesn't come off without set screws. And Borgeson says this is kosher?
Borgeson says it's kosher.
Sweet. Still going to wrap a wet rag around this just to be on the safe side.
Yeah.
Clearance issues? What clearance issues? And here we see Dad drawing the primer on the bracket with the super frightening mains-powered monkey of death. He had to prime it, of course, because after he blasted the paint off, you could still see where it said Craftsman on the metal.
And that was just unacceptable.
Not going quite that ratty on this build. It's all in. We don't have any silly little pieces of metal jammed in here. And if you work the wheel,
It turns the actual road wheels quite nicely without a whole bunch of noise.
yeah. Of course, we probably better come up with a better way of holding the steering rack in.
Details.
Yeah, get to that when we get to that.
Yeah.
Well, we pulled one of the water pump bolts and noticed it was wet. Turns out the last guy applied black silicone to some of the gasket, not other parts of the gasket. And if you look at the pump, you can see the corrosion stretching kind of...
Everywhere it was leaking.
Yeah. So yeah, the guy, it seems he did use shellac, but only on the bottom of it, down near the weep hole. Also, filling the weep hole.
Well, he probably had to, since he didn't do the top half right, and it was leaking out the weep hole. You aren't interchangeable.
Yeah, so we've got a scrap 302 over there. We pulled the water pump off of that, and it is very different inside. So yeah, we got to make sure we get the right pump for this motor. It's not going to do us a whole awful lot of good.
Something I would not have expected.
Yep. Look at that resale red just popping right off of there.
Yep.
Hey, remember how we were working on a Triumph? So do we.
We thought we'd try it again.
Yeah.
Because it's been a wet.
yeah, it's in the way and it's hot outside and it's cold and noisy in here thanks to our $12 air conditioner. So, yeah.
Normally want to take the exhaust manifold out through the top, but not the Triumph. Comes out the bottom.
Yeah, not when you got this funny steering link in the way. So yeah, our challenge for today is to try and remove this engine and transmission with a ceiling hoist and know where to push the car to. This can only go well.
Perfectly.
Well, that was easy.
It was easier than changing a fuel pump on an Audi Allroad.
Yeah, many things are, but yeah. Oh, this looks familiar. Mostly. It's been a while since we looked at this last, but we're remembering all of the things we needed to do in it, and so we're going to go ahead and start doing some of those. Starting by chopping up this lip here so we can bend it over and weld it on and have the passenger footbox mostly sealed up. Okay, well, we've got the panel cut and beat, and as you can see, our fitment is just absolutely on point, as borne out by our foresight to clearance the hole for the body mount bolt. So we'll need to deal with that, but we're going to get it mostly welded in first so that it doesn't wobble around while we're trying to do that. There we go, one flange.
Looks factory to me.
Okay, I just put in another night of screwing around with this thing. We've got the welds ground down a bit so that hopefully we can... They might still need some grinding here and there, but I think they're mostly there. And I got this piece all started in. You can see that little rounded piece there. Or you might be able to if the camera will focus. There we go, thank you iPhone. Anyway, that right there is just a little piece of sheet metal I cut and set on the end of it, just so that we can pretend that this is stock and intentional. And yeah, that goes down. Had a little trouble with the base because the floor didn't quite meet it. We cut it a little short, I think, but bent the floor up, welded that on. That should work just fine. So now we just need a side panel here, and yeah, floors are closed in. Well, that's almost straight. There we go, single master cylinder holder. Well, we are dangerously close to fitting the brake master cylinder.
In the wrong place. Because there's no right place like the wrong place.
And there's no room anywhere else anymore.
Right.
Also, you can see they didn't bother to take the body tag off when they painted it.
That's the original color of the car.
Okay, so we've notched this out here so we can push the pedal box over, so we've got room for the gas pedal again. But this leaves some extra holes, and there's also this bit right here that sticks up, then the rest of this is down from that, so it'd be sitting all cattywampus, and we don't want to deal with that. So, cut up a piece of fairly thick steel here, and yeah, just gonna put that in there like that, and then we've got pretty much a flat surface to mount the pedal box to. As nice as this Lincoln helmet is, if you leave it sitting in the dark, the battery goes dead. Not fond of that. Okay, top plate is welded on, ground down, good to go. The holes are wallowed out to where I could get this thing mostly straight. You might notice if you look at it that the master cylinder is a little cockeyed. That's actually by design. The clutch cylinder was cocked a little to the other side so that the caps would clear. British engineering, everyone. But most importantly, it clears the window wiper motor, so we don't have to run without window wipers, or, you know, figure out something else for that. And yeah, we got the clutch pedal sticking through here, and we can just hook that to a cable going down to the transmission that will eventually be in that hole there. Okay, well, another night of beating on this thing, and yeah, we've got both foot boxes closed in.
Vroom, vroom. Vroom, vroom. Are we there yet?
Dad's excited because he just got the clutch back. Yeah, the machine shop, or Napa I guess, was able to grind off the topography that the previous owner left on the clutch, or on the flywheel rather. So yeah, all ready to go back together as soon as we figure out if we're doing seals or whatnot on the engine and trans. And then that can go where I am.
Yay!
And this will be a car.
The engine bay color. Concept.
Rattle can black.
Yeah, I'm thinking that booger wipe finish on the bottom of the hood with black on it.
When we had a local guy do the double bubble on the hood, he sprayed the underside with this. I believe it's supposed to be some kind of sound deadener. Sort of this undercoat looking... well, okay, it kind of looks like something went horribly wrong with a machine that was making some form of pudding, and it just sort of shut off from hell to breakfast. Yeah, well, I think booger white finish might cover some of my booger weld finish, so that would be...
That's the idea, yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing personal.
But yeah, we're pretty proud of this side. As you can see, it's got this sort of crease on it. We ended up having to do a compound bend on it, using only a bench vise and a bed frame. And for what we did, I think it turned out pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely.
And because it's got this crease in it, it's stiffer. So it's not going to
It's not going to go wobble, 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 wobble every time we go over a bump.
Yeah, and it's not going to transmit as much noise into the inside of it, because, you know, you're not going to get any noise in the inside of it otherwise.
Should we insulate the roof?
Well, I suppose we could insulate the roof. And with the steering linkage out of the way, we've got everything welded up. I think it turned out pretty nicely. At least the parts of it I'm going to show you turned out pretty nicely. And yeah, the bottom part there is all bent under and welded up. I should still weld it from the inside as well, just so it can't trap moisture anywhere, but yeah, we have 2 enclosed foot boxes.
And room to push the gas pedal.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, right now we've got all kinds of room to push the gas pedal because it's not really connected to anything.
Yeah, that would be true.
But yeah, next time, ladies and gentlemen, we figure out how to hang a gas pedal, and we figure out what we're doing about a transmission tunnel. Dad's got some ideas. And
Vroom, vroom.
that might be a couple parts away, but hopefully sooner rather than later we can hear that thing sing us the song of its people again. So, until then,
that's all, folks.
yeah, keep beating on junk in your garage.
There you go.
Not sure the last guy had ever heard of primer.